But the point I'm getting at is that God's so gracious and merciful that even in rebellion, God will use you in your sin. Like, naturally. Like, I'm not trying to be used by God while I'm out here selling dope. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to be intentional and, like, be active in ministry while I was out there tripping. Nah, like, that was the furthest thing from my mind. I was avoiding all believers. I wasn't going to church. I didn't want to see the brothers in Christ who knew me because I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I already felt fake. You know what I mean? I think that's a big thing, too. Like, this the inward conviction. Like, I felt flawed, man, because, like, yo, like, I was being flawed. I was being fake because that wasn't like me. I wasn't being like authentically me at that time. I was trying to be the old me. I was trying to conform to the world and just pursue the pleasures of sin and the things of the world to where like man like even though it might have been pleasurable for a moment, whether it's like getting drunk, high, having sex, all these things, getting money, but it's like man, I'm pump faking. This ain't me no more, and I knew it, but I was still going against the grain. So only that I feel flawed and convicted. And so therefore, the reason why I say that is because I'm not going to church. I'm not trying to do ministry. I'm not trying to minister to anybody because I'm just ashamed of my unfaithfulness and my rebellion. But God would still use me naturally, just organically. And that's what would encourage me. I remember like I'll be with my homies sometimes, and some of my homies they were like addicts, and I still like I grew up with them, so there's like close friends of mine, so I still like I would serve them sadly, but for the most part I just hang out with them, you know what I mean? These are my dogs. We just be in the streets together. But some of like not just like the guys who use, but even the guys selling dope, and they would just be low and they'd be depressed, or we're just living life together, you know what I mean? We're close, we're friends, and we vent and talk about stuff, and I just hear their pain. And sometimes like God would naturally like just encourage them and remind them like that there's more to life than this. You know what I mean? And like God has purpose for our lives, and it's ultimately through faith in Jesus. And like we ain't finding that what we doing and what we're doing. Like this ain't it. And it would be in those moments to where like I would see it be hitting them, and the spirit of God would be ministering to them, and I'd be convicted at the same time because I know I'm tripping, but God would still be using me in the midst of my rebellion. And like it would be in those moments I'd be super encouraged and I'd be reminded of God's call on my life. You know what I mean? And I remember like a crazy story too, because God would not only would still use me from time to time to encourage me, but I also like be slapped in the face. You know what I mean, with conviction. I mean,